bedikas chametz. Now we know there's a mitzvah Arla but also bedikas chametz the night before Pesach, which this year will be Thursday night. We have to do bedikas chametz. Now, what's the reason why we do bedikas chametz? Everyone knows the mitzvah. We go ahead. We bedic the house. We check the house to make sure there's no chametz in the house. Why do we do that for? Anybody know why we do that?
So you should be over on
by Matzah.
No, but you can still do. You can even bottle it. So you have to.
It's a mandate. You can do a bittul.
I count on that.
So if you look at Rashi says, Arda Abasa Baitas Chametz. Rashi says, Shelo Yaver Olav Val Yira Bal Yimotzei. They should be over on Bal Yira Bal Yimotzei. Now they have chametz in your house on Pesach, in order to make sure that you won't be over that Isser of Bal Yira Bal Yimotzei. You have to go ahead and check your house and make sure there's no chametz in your house. That's what Rashi says. And Tais has a few questions on this. And one of Tais' questions is, the Kasha Luri, the Kivi the Tzarech Bittul, K'da Amar V'Gemara Boydek Tzarech Evatel, you need a bittul. We know we make a bittul after we check for the chametz. It's called chamira v'chamira. We mevatel all the chametz that we have left over that we didn't find. We mevatel all the chametz now. So any chametz that we have is on mine. Have it after the ara. Anybody wants can take it, and then over by your all by your matzah. And the halacha is, Taisa says, and Gemara says that if you do a badika, you still have to do a bittul afterwards. So why do the badika? So if you're doing the bedika not to be over by your by your matzah, anyway you're doing a bittul. You're going ahead and you're saying vatl all the chametz they have. So what do you have to do the bedika for?
And what's the 10 pieces business?
10 pieces something else. We'll get to that later on.
So you don't come across a piece and eat it.
Oh, so there's another reason. It's a different reason. Taisa says the reason why we do a bedika is not because it shouldn't be open by your by your matzah. Because if that's what you're worried about, anyway you're mevatel the chametz. Says Taisus, you know why you make a bedikas chametz? Because maybe you'll find a gluskayav, you'll find a nice piece of cake, and then you see a piece of cake, you can have charata, that you made a bittul, and then you want to eat the cake. So now you'll be open by your matzah, because you can change your mind on the whole bittul, because you found a good piece of cake and you want to eat it. So you can change your mind. You don't want the whole bittul, and you can eat the piece of cake.
So how does it solve the problem by looking for it? Doing the dick, how's that solve?
So you'll get rid of it. You won't have it.
You get rid of it.
You won't have
any pieces.
During Pesach, you'll find
it. During Pesach, you find a piece of chametz in your house. You're not going to want to. You have charota on the bittul.
Right. No, not that you will eat it, but you'll just. I wish I could eat it.
Oh, so Taisa says you'll have charota on the bittul.
Right.
That's what Taisa says. Other Rishonim say a different reason. So far we have two reasons. One, because Rashi is by Rabbi by Matzeh. Taisa says because maybe when you find a piece of cake in your house and have charata on the whole bittul, and now it's yours again, everybody by your matzah. And there's another reason which a lot of people say this reason is because you shouldn't come to eat the chametz on Pesach. If you find the chametz in your house on Pesach, you may come eat it. So you make a bedikas chametz. Why? There shouldn't be any chametz in your house, so you shouldn't come to eat the chametz. That's the third reason that we find in the Rishonim.
But Tosfos says that you shouldn't come to want to eat it.
Right. Tosfos shouldn't come to want it, and then you'll nullify your bittul, and then you'll be over again about your by your matzah. Nothing to do with eating it. And there's a lot of differences in the reasoning for the bedikas chametz. We'll see a lot of different reasons. So the Ran brings down Rashi, and it brings down Tosfos Kasha. And says the Ran like this: V'yesh loymar, says the Ran, the midayraisa bechad b'nayu sagi. Midayraisa, you could do either a bedika or a bittul. Either you could buy the house, make sure there's no chametz, or you could say, "V'mevatel all the chametz in your house," and midayraisa is good enough because once you mevatel it, there's no chametz in your house. Oive bedika, oive bittul. And he says, he brings a riot, the bedika lichuda nami mahani. A bedika itself also works. Kedarmina Allah begamar alanem and Allah, and he brings a riot. So the Ran, it seems like the Ran is saying something very simple, but the Ran's really a very big chiddush. The Ran saying bittul works midiraisa, but a bedika also works midiraisa. So the obvious question is, of course, if I make a bedika and I check my house and there's no chametz in my house, so of course it works. Then you don't need a bittul even.
There is. If you don't find it.
Oh, so the difference is that if you hold that bedika does not work midaraisa, Midaraisa it says you can't have chametz in your house. Everybody you are by your matzah. It's also a big machlokes. There's din tashpisu. You have to make sure there's no chametz in your house on Pesach. What does that mean? No chametz in my house on Pesach. Let's say,
That belongs to you.
that belongs to you. Yeah. Let's say there is. I made a b'dika in my house. I checked everything, and I didn't find any chametz. And by mistake, I missed a spot. I missed it, and there is chametz in my house. Am I oiven by your matzah or not? You checked your house, and you did whatever you could, and now it happens to be there's a pretzel, whatever, gazayas chametz in your house. Are you oiven by your and by your matzah or not?
Yeah.
So it depends how you learn.
That's why you
According to the Ran, you won't be oiven by your by your matzah, because the Ran says midaraisa a bedika is enough. If I did whatever I could, I made a bedika, that's all you have to do.
Even though it was deficient.
Even though it was deficient.
It's honest.
I did whatever I could. I did whatever I could. This is the Makar Chaim says this. Makar Chaim on Hilchos Pesach. He says, according to this, you make a bedika. I did whatever I could.
Yeah, but
anytime you do whatever you could, that's all you have to do.
but that's
You have,
all
to know,
relevant.
you have to know you did a proper bedika.
Yeah.
Though.
You
You
have
can't
to-
just do a superficial.
No, you
joke
can't do a
bedika.
superficial bedika, right? You have to know you
Yeah,
did a
but you
proper
know,
bedika.
But if you knew you'd be over, chorus, whatever, you'd check till the cows come in. You know, we don't check enough. How long you check for an hour?
Okay, so we'll get to that. We'll get to our checkings. We'll get to our checkings in a minute.
Yeah.
We'll see what our checkings, if they mean anything. Our checkings.
If the answer is no, I don't want to know about it.
But so according to the Ran, if you went ahead, you made a bedika, and it happens to be you did whatever you could do, whatever you're supposed to do, and there happens to be some chametz in your house. According to the Ran, bedika midaraisa is enough. The yaitza, finished. But if you hold midaraisa, doesn't say go do a bedika. Midaraisa says no chametz in your house. How do you do that? Do a bittul. A bittul is a way that there is no chametz in your house. If you didn't do a bittul, you did a bedika, and there happens to be chametz in your house, then you're open by your matzah. If you don't hold like the Ran, if you hold you have to do a bittul midaraisa, or bedika doesn't work midaraisa. According to the Ran, you're open. Not according to the Ran. According to other Rishonim, you're open by your matzah because it's in your house. What are you going to say? I checked. Doesn't have to do with checking. There can't be any chametz in your house. If there's chametz in your house, you're over by your matzah according to the other Rishonim. Now, one thing you have to know: don't get scared. It's only if you have a kazayas chametz. By your and by your matzah is only for a kazayas chametz. If you have less than a kazayas of chametz in your house, you're not even by your matzah.
And not mitzvah from all different places. It has to be
Not
kazayas in one
mitzvah. It
place.
has to be kazayas in one place, unless it's in a place where it could come together over Pesach by itself. Because if you have one shiri upstairs and one shiri downstairs, they're not going to come together. You're not even by your matzah. It has to be in a place that it could be they come together as one kazayas chametz. So that's the shayla about bedika and bittul. So even though we do a bedika, the reason why we do a bittul afterwards, everyone check the house. Why do a bittul for? You check the house, and today we clean the house well. There was no chametz anywhere in the house. So why do a bittul for? The answer is we do a bittul because according to those Rishonim that hold that bedika is not midaraisa, midaraisa then is make sure there's no chametz in your house. So you have to go ahead and do a bittul for that, because maybe you missed a spot, and maybe there's a kazayas chametz in a spot. For that, you have to do a bittul. That's why we do a bittul. Now, according to all these reasons, the bedika, so what do you have to do a bedika for? Do a bittul, and then don't do a bedika. So for that, you have the other reason. That the reason why we do a bedika is that you shouldn't come to eat the chametz. If you want to make sure there's no chametz in your house, you shouldn't come to eat it. Now, what does it mean to eat the chametz? Doesn't mean you're going to have a big piece of cake there, even if you have a small thing. We know halacha is you're not allowed to eat even a drop of chametz on Pesach, even a mashroom chametz. Even a drop of chametz you're not allowed to eat on Pesach, no matter what. So if you hold the reason why you make a bedika is you shouldn't come to eat the chametz, now the bedika becomes much more severe. Because if the bedika is they should be open by your by your matzah, so as long as there's no kazayas in your house, you check your house well, there's no kazayas in one place, you're okay. If the bedika is that you shouldn't come to eat the chametz, you have to make sure that every drop of chametz is out of your house. That's what bedika is all about. Check, make sure there's no chametz, not even a mashru chametz, because a mashru chametz is not allowed to eat on Pesach. Then you have to check to make sure even a mashru chametz is not in your house. That's the issue of if you hold it achil.
Why couldn't you do bedika then to make sure that in places where you would eat, or
Yeah,
like the
okay, so
table areas, but like let's say in the playroom down in
so
the
that's what-
corner
oh.
where there might be one crumb.
Right,
So
so very
what's
good.
the big deal?
So very good.
You know, but you know what's relevant? Let's say you have small kids. You
Yeah.
have small kids that crawl around the
You have
floor.
no choice.
And
Yeah,
then
so-
they're going to eat it.
No control.
They feel the crumb. They're not going to say, "Oh, it's places." They're gonna
Okay,
eat it.
so let's break it down now. So now there's two types of bedikas. One bedika is for Baruch by Matzah. You shouldn't have a kazayas chametz, and one bedika is you shouldn't come to eat the chametz. Now, there's a big difference between the two bedikas, how much you have to check for, and also where you have to check. If you're checking, you shouldn't come to eat the kazayas chametz. So it could be went through this last year a little bit, but even if you did, you might tell me, because I think it's very important to know this.
All right.
When we do a bedika, or when we clean a house for Pesach, so it depends where you're doing it. If it's in a bedroom, it's in a place where you don't eat chametz, you don't eat during the year, so it's possible maybe chametz got in there. So then you check for kazayas chametz, because we're not choishish that in the bedrooms you're going to end up eating something on Pesach or eating a crumb of chametz from your bedroom on Pesach. But when it comes time to places where you eat, for example, the kitchen or dining room, there the bedika is a whole different bedika. There, what are you worried about? On Pesach, there'll be some chametz lying around, even crumbs, and that may end up in your food. That chametz that ends up in your food on Pesach, you're not allowed to eat. We know there's a concept of bittul. All year round there's a concept of bittul. If you have 60 times the Isser is batal b'shishim, on Pesach there's no such concept. So if you have a crumb of chametz that falls into your food on Pesach, and you eat it, you just did an Isser. There may not be chorus on it because you have to have a kazayas to have chorus, but an Isser there is. So even if there's only one crumb of chametz in your food on Pesach, you're over on achilas chametz on Pesach. So that's why the bedika that we're doing, not to be over on achila.
Isn't achila considered kazayas? That I mean, or like bear. Like on Yom Kippur, achila is only considered.
No, that's because you need what's called yeah, because it's sphere. That's you need what's called again the lashon gemara there to break the inui. Meisiv nafshoy. That's something else. But achila, you're right. Isser achila is only considered achila of a kazayis. That's why you only get caught on the kazayis.
Yeah, usually it's
yeah, but now it has less than a kazayis. May not get malchus on it. But Isser there is.
Yeah, mushroom.
Yeah, and Isser there is. Yeah, you're gonna drop, you now that eat. So therefore, it comes down to cleaning the kitchen and the dining room, this type of place where you do eat, and a crumb of chametz could fall into your food. Then the din is to check even for the crumbs. You have to clean out everything. In the other places of the house where you don't eat there, the bedika doesn't have to be as strong.
You have to worry about kids eating it?
You don't have to worry about kids eating it. You don't have to worry about kids eating it. No.
Why not?
First of all, what the kids eat crumbs off the floor?
Well, it's in the basement.
Yeah.
Like I just picked up my chair and I found a playground.
Yeah,
so come Pesach time, the kids can just go underneath and they can pick them up.
No,
you don't have to worry about it.
In a place where you don't eat, you don't have to worry about. No. In a place where you don't eat, usually you don't eat, you don't have to worry about. And you worry that the kid may end up putting his toy there. And
no, I'm saying actual chametz, right?
Yes, actual chametz. For kazayis, you have to check anyway. It's okay. The chomer is only the places where you eat.
It's okay with me. That's right.
Yeah, man, I gave you a cooler, man.
I got it. That's fine. I'm asking. No questions. We're good. We're good.
No, the only pressure you have to put is places that you eat. The place that you don't eat, and then they go crazy and they clean the bedrooms and the place where they don't bring chametz. You don't have to do that. Closets. That you don't have to. But in the place where you eat, you have to be clean very, very well. And I say the same thing every year. And today, our cars, unfortunately, are considered like kitchens. Everyone brings food into the car and they eat in the car, and especially if they have kids. The cars are. A person has a choice with the car. Either you clean it extremely, extremely well, then not even a crumb of chametz is there, or there's another eitzah.
Don't ever eat in your car.
Well, you could tell it, right?
Don't drive your
car. No, you can use the car on Pesach.
No, don't eat
in your car on Pesach.
Don't eat.
Or ever.
Ever, yeah. That's why I asked too much. But
distracted driving.
But you could say that on Pesach, don't eat in your cars, because then your car becomes like a place where you're not going to bring food into.
That's good.
And then don't eat, but if you have groceries in the car, Because a lot of people have like the groceries on Pesach are in the bag, never on the car directly.
Right.
Because if you don't clean the car well enough, then there's crumbs there, it comes into your food right away.
Right.
So that's what people. Some people put like a tablecloth, a plastic tablecloth, in the back of the car, in the trunk, and they put the Pesach stuff on that because if you have a crumb of chametz that ends up in your food, then you have an issue. So that's the preparations for the bedika. Now, what we do, bedika is chametz night.
I'm asking with the car, so I don't have to. I have to do a bedika for more than kazayim.
Yeah,
I
for
don't
sure.
have to clean it to
Right, saying
for
the clean.
smallest pieces.
Right, to clean the car for small pieces of chametz
That's
is only if you're worried that it's going to come in contact
Only
with
if
your
I plan
food.
to eat in there.
Yeah, if you plan to eat in your car on Pesach and you put the food down or whatever it is on the car, then you have to make sure it's 100% clean. So what you can do is don't eat in your car on Pesach.
Why did I think of the detail too?
And then he says don't eat in your car at all. Yeah.
That's my approach.
It's a very good approach. It's a practical. Unfortunately today, I don't know why, but cars became, we choose to do everything in the car today. People who travel, we do everything in the car today. But now, and the bedika that we do on bedika's chametz night, so like Mendel said, 10 minutes you're done, right? Check it out.
Did I say 10 minutes?
Oh, no, what did you say?
No, it's like an hour and a half. I don't go for 5
Right. So the
hours.
question is, you don't go checking. We don't go checking all over bedika's chametz night. We do, and the truth is that the ladies usually clean the house very, very well before Pesach. So what are you looking for? There is no chametz anymore. It's all clean.
Look for the 10 pieces.
So that's where the 10 pieces come from. That's what there's a whole question about 10 pieces. Should you put it?
Bila batala.
Yeah, should you put it? Should you not put it? It's not 10 pieces. 10 pieces are pida rizal. Now, Allah said you should put some chametz around. That if the house is already clean, you shouldn't be a bracha levatala, but because chametz, and it's already nivdak. You already checked the house, and there is no chametz in the house. But an eitzah tova that there is that the law is if you're leaving your house before Pesach, right? So you're mechuyev to make a bedika before you leave your house, right? Let's say you're not selling your whole house. So your house, you have to be baidik. So you're going away for Pesach. So the night before you go away, you have to do a bedika in your house, and your yotzah, we don't make a bracha on it. But your yotzah yechiyev bedika, even though it's not leil yudalid. We don't make a bracha only on early yudalid, but bedika you can do beforehand. So therefore, it's an eitzah tova that the ladies, when they clean, let's say the cabinets and the kitchen and everything, and they make it Pesachdik, and then they turn it over, they put paper, whatever, and they make it. It's kedai that whenever you clean something, if you could do this at night, a lot of times it's not practical, you're cleaning every day, but at night, to check it with the light, and that's your bedika. So let's say you do in your kitchen, right? You empty out the cabinets in your kitchen from chametz, you're cleaning it well, the drawers are cleaning well, and now you're going to put your Pesach dishes inside. It's kedai before you do that, the night before, to make a bedika, a regular bedika in those cabinets, and in the drawers make a regular bedika. So now you just baitik those places, even though it's not leil yudalit, but a bedika you made. So later on, when it comes to leil yudalit, you're not mechuyev to make a bedika in those places. You already yotzei your bedika in those places. So now when it comes to leil yudalit, you're not to make yourself crazy because a lot of the places are already Baruch from beforehand, and then you're okay. You don't have to.
So you have to. We have strings and tape, and we tape the covers and stuff like that. Do we have to do all that before Chatzos on the Erev Pesach? You have to actually close it up.
Sure, close it because now it's chametz after Chatzos.
I understand. So you have to physically close it up before.
Yeah, you should. It should be closer beforehand. You can't. Yeah, it should be done before Chatzos on Erev Pesach because that's when the Issa Chametz comes in. And once you have the Issa Chametz, we spoke I think last week, 2 weeks ago, it has to be closed off that you can't get to it.
And if I am selling my house completely and traveling, do I have to do any bedika?
So that's the question. If you're traveling, you're supposed to do a bedika. If you sell your house before the time of a bedika, then you don't have to make a bedika because your house is sold already. That means if you're selling a house, not Erev Pesach in the morning with the regular bedika.
Oh, okay.
You're selling it Yud Gimel. It's called Mechiras Yud Gimel. You're selling it beforehand, so that's not your house. You don't have to do a bedika. Anything that's not your house, you're not mechuyev to make a bedika. The question is why you want to do that for?
Why? Because you're not going to be there, that's why.
So why are you trying to get rid of the Chiyuv B'dika? Why are you looking to get rid of it for?
You're an older person, you know.
Huh? So
I have a case of my...
Tircha for B'dika. Yeah, if it's hard...
It's hard for her.
It's hard, yeah, for an older person, it's hard to make a B'dika, and he can't make a B'dika, so he makes them a Chiyuv Gimel, fine. But for young people like us, we may as well make a B'dika. Why not?
You can do B'dika just in one room.
Thank you.
One small room.
What?
One small room.
Yeah, you could, but what are you looking for? In most of the houses, especially if you're leaving, all you have to look for is a kazayas chametz. You have to check for the crumbs. Right? Like I said, if you're not going to be in your house Pesach, so there's no problem of you come to eat it. So you're not checking for crumbs.
Someone that's selling their whole house doesn't even clean the whole house. They don't clean it all. They just lock the door.
Oh, so if you're not cleaning your house at all, that's something else. If you're not cleaning your house from any chametz, so you want to save yourself from the cleaning of the chametz, so then in the chametz you can just make a chiyuv gimel. Yeah, but most people, you know, especially
these women, if they're going away, they don't want to clean anything else.
Nothing at all.
Why would they want to do that?
Even kazayas chametz?
I don't know what I don't know if they're doing, but I would imagine that's one of the beauties of going away for Pesach. You don't have to clean, right?
No, somebody told me one room you have to clean, and I wasn't.
Yeah, the reason why we say one room you have to clean, because you don't want to get rid of the Chiyuv B'dika totally. You want to still be mekayim the mitzvah of B'dika's chametz, which the truth is, I was getting to that later. I guess we're going to it now. There's a whole shaila. Is there a din that I have to make a B'dika, or is it that I shouldn't have chametz in my house? It's din tashbisum, right? Tashbisum is get rid of all your chametz before Pesach. Is there a din that I have to get rid of my chametz before Pesach, or is it din don't have chametz in your house on Pesach? What's the difference? What's the difference? Right? You hear the question? Is it din that you have to get rid of your chametz, or is it din don't have chametz in your house on Pesach?
Don't have.
Huh? Say don't have. So it's a big shayla d'achrayah. What does it mean? And I'll tell you a few differences. One big difference is if someone doesn't have chametz in his house, he doesn't have. So should he go out and buy chametz in order to be able to get rid of it? Right? Tashbisum means get rid of your chametz. If you don't have any chametz, you can't get rid of it.
My daughter's moving into an apartment the day before Pesach.
Right.
There's no chametz there. There's nothing there.
Who'd you get the apartment from? It's a new apartment?
They cleaned it. It's completely empty. You know, so it was cleaned up. Right?
Completely clean.
So that's the shayla.
Yeah.
So she put chametz there.
She'd go ahead and get chametz from the kind of tashbisum. Some parts of yes, you should. You should go ahead, because if you don't get rid of the chametz,
that's the 10 pieces business, maybe.
No, 10 pieces is something else. 10 pieces is because of the bracha of Atala. Because 10 pieces is by the B'dika. There's the B'dika, and then there's the morning when you burn the chametz, that's tashbisum. In the morning when you burn the chametz, that's when you're doing the mitzvah of tashbisum, getting rid of it. So the question is, do you have to go ahead and get rid of your chametz, or just not have chametz? If it's to go get rid of your chametz, so then you're going ahead and you're selling everything, so you're not getting rid of your chametz. It's not yours anymore. You're not getting rid of it. If you don't sell everything, you make a b'dika and you burn the extra chametz that you have, then you're being mekayim tashbisu. Then you're getting rid of your chametz. The Minchas Chinuch goes through. There's a bunch of different nafkaminas. If it's a din tashbisu of getting rid of it, or just not having it, and not having it. One famous thing is, he says that the halacha, if I'm trying to do a mitzvah, and you go ahead and you grab the mitzvah away from me and you do it. So halacha is, you got to pay a sarah zehuvim. You got to pay the guy 10 gold coins, because it's the worth of a mitzvah. I'm doing a mitzvah, you go ahead and you grab it away from me. So now, you got to pay me 10 gold coins because you took away the mitzvah from me. So the question is, if I have chametz in my house and I'm going to go burn it the next morning, you go ahead and you grab the chametz away from me and you burn it. So they have to give me 10 gold coins, as far as the huvim or not. So it depends. If the mitzvah is to go ahead and burn the chametz, so then yeah, you took away my mitzvah. If the mitzvah is don't have chametz in your house at all, no din to go burn it, so I don't have. Who cares if you burnt it or I burnt it, make a difference.
It just helped you.
Just help me not to have it. That's one of the differences that Minchas Chinuch brings down.
What's the bottom line?
The bottom line is you're not supposed to resolve yourself of the din b'dika. You're not supposed to. You're supposed to buy and check, make sure there's no chametz in your house. If you're saying so, it's hard for them to clean the house, and they're going away Pesach because they don't want to clean the house. Okay, so leave it for one room at least, like they say. I don't think it's so hard. You know, the hard part of cleaning for Pesach is the crumbs. The Kazayas Chametz is not the hard part. Most people, especially if the kids are out of the house, most people know exactly where the Chametz is in the house. There's no Chametz in the side rooms, there's Chametz in the kitchen. You know what you have in your freezer, you may have some rolls, whatever. In the cabinets, you may have some Chametz. You know where the Chametz is. So to go ahead and do Badika, the easy thing is close up the places that have Chametz and sell those places. Right? The refrigerator, the freezer that has Chametz, sell those. And the rest of the house, make a Badika. Leave it certain places that you have Chametz, Gomer, in your cabinets that you're selling that, and sell those places. And the rest of the house, make a Badika. It's not that hard to make a Badika if you're checking for a Kazayas Chametz. Then with the halacha of the 10 pieces, so there's a big shaila about it, if you should put out 10 pieces or not. The Ramah brings out when the Hagam on Niach Petite Chametz, it's a minute to put out little pieces of bread, the Mokim Sheyim Tzaim, Habaydik, there should be a bracha levatala. That shouldn't be a bracha levatala. But if you don't put it, then it's not a ma'akim, and it brings down, the Mishnah brings down from the Rizal, that you put 10 pieces of bread. But the Taz and the Shai Tshuva bring down that it's better not to. Why not? Because you may not find it. Right. If you lose it, then you're in bigger trouble. Right? So that's the machlokes is what's better, how are you better off?
And the 10 is connected so much? It's 10 connected.
I don't know, that'll leave for you to decide. That'll leave for Adam to give up shots. Where's the 10 come from? This brings down from the Ri, they should put down 10 pieces. Where does the 10 pieces come from? That's a Kabbalah from the Arizal. You know that. I never heard a good reason why 10. You because there are 10 markers.
That's what someone told me.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if it's from my deep past. I don't know where.
Could be, and that's why 10 markers has to do with the 10 pieces of. Maybe. I'm not sure. I'm not sure what the reason is. You realize in the Yitzhak that we say, those who say Yitzhak on Shabbos HaGadol. Say Yitzhak here?
No. I think Shabbos is the only shul in the street.
No, good.
Also
yeah, the Chalot says Yitzhak.
Really?
Yeah.
No, here?
Not here. Here they don't say Yitzhak. How do they do?
I don't know.
Yeah. So in the Yitzhak it says, it goes through it. If you have a chance, Martin Skadar, look through it. In the Yitzhak Shabbos HaGadol, it's called the Lekeya Ruchais. Is the name of the Yitzhak. It's a long Yitzhak, very long. But it goes through all the halachas. From B'dikas Chametz all the way through the Seder, through Pesach, through everything. It goes through everything. And there it says that you put out 4 or 5 pieces of bread and you go do B'dikas Chametz. So it doesn't say that like the Rizal says 10 pieces. It says 4 or 5 pieces of bread and you go ahead and you do B'dikas Chametz. So someone doesn't have 10 places to put the bread, he puts 4 or 5, it's also okay.
Especially if you're doing one room.
Yeah, if you're doing one room, you're going to find 10 hiding places in one room.
So you're saying if you're doing one room, you should put something out there to find, right?
Yeah, you should always put something out. You don't have to have 10. Even 2 or 3 pieces. If you hold with this bracha levatala.
Who says 4 or 5?
In the Yitzhak. The Yitzhak was saying Shabbos HaGadol, it says you put 4 or 5 pieces of bread and you go check for it. That's what it says. Well, that's the B'dika. So end off here. We have how much time do we have left?
5, 6 minutes.
So end of one more thing, which is very relevant this year, which I don't want to get into the whole Shiloh, but I'd like everybody to fire down a terrace to the Shiloh. I think we mentioned it maybe Sunday morning. This year, the last 2 days of Pesach are Friday Shabbos. Right? Friday Shabbos, last 2 days of Pesach. There's a famous machlokes, which is a big sugya. If someone's Makabel Shabbos early, what type of din does he have? Is it Shabbos? Is it not Shabbos? Is it full Shabbos? Only partial like Shabbos? There's a whole question about it. I don't want to get involved in that now. That's a share. We once spoke about it. Yeah, once spoke about this. There's a lot said about this. But there's the Chalekes really starts with a Taz and the Marshal in Hilchas Sukkah. That with Shmini Atzeres, if someone accepts upon himself Shmini Atzeres early, Meisif Shmini Atzeres early. Let's say it's a show, but you don't sit in the Sukkah on Shmini Atzeres. So you makabel Shmini Atzeres early, you daven in shul, you come home from shul, it's still light outside. It's light outside, and it's really Chalamoy Sukkahs. Do you have to still eat in the sukkah or not? Right? Do you have to still eat in the sukkah or not? Big machlokes Taz and the Marshal. The Marshal says, of course, it's still sukkah. It's light outside. It's still sukkah. You're right. You accept it upon yourself. Shmini Atzeres early, but it doesn't take away sukkahs, and therefore you still have to sit in the sukkah.
It's like the Sphira story.
No, Sphira is something else. Sphira is
Same idea, no?
no, Sphira is maybe the night. Anything like even we'll get that in a second. 1 second. The Taz says no. Once it's Shmini Atzeres, so you have a right to be makabel upon yourself Shmini Atzeres early, so it's not sukkahs anymore, and you don't have to eat in the sukkah. That's what the Taz says. You don't have to eat in the sukkah anymore. You go home. It's still light outside. Your next door neighbor has to eat in the sukkah because he wasn't makabel Shmini Atzeres early. You don't have to eat in the sukkah anymore. The Taz says that Kriya Shema, of course, has to be at night. It's in Laila, that's, of course, you have to do at night. That's what the Taz says. So I'm going to ask you a question like this. This year, the last day, that's the second part of Shabbos. The last day of Pesach is Friday in Eretz Yisrael. Day after Pesach is Shabbos. Right? If someone's going to be Makabel Shabbos early, that last day of Pesach, and comes home and it's still light outside, is he allowed to eat challah?
No.
Why not?
It's Shabbos.
Right?
Because it's Shabbos.
It's Shabbos.
Yeah.
Is he allowed to eat chametz? Why is it different in the case of the Taz? You come home, it's light outside, you don't have to eat in the sukkah anymore. Why should it be different? Taz says you don't have to eat in the sukkah. So why can't you eat chametz?
One is for sure, it's a machlokes, right?
No, because the Mashal argues.
It's a machlokes for sure.
No, Mashal argues. Okay. So this is not a very practical shayla because it's not really going to happen that you eat chametz. But what it is negeya is those who don't eat gebracht whole Pesach. Right. So last day of Pesach we eat gebracht. So we have knedlach Friday night.
Right.
The delicacy of the Suda is knedlach.
Right.
So you come Shabbos early. You come home. It's light outside.
You have to wait.
You have to wait to eat the knedlach.
You have to wait.
No, but the last day of
You have to wait. Let's face it,
That's
Shabbos.
Last day of Shabbos.
Knedlach. Eat gebracht. This is the last day of Pesach is Shabbos.
Next Israel?
No, it's Friday.
Right.
Also Shabbos.
Right. You're talking about here.
Here.
So you-
No, that's Shol. That's Shol.
You're talking here. Right.
I'm talking about here.
Right.
So it's Makabel Shabbos early, the last day of Pesach, which is going to happen in Toronto.
Right.
Most of the schools will probably daven early.
Right.
You come home Friday night,
Right.
and it's still light outside. It's Friday by day still, but you're Makabel Shabbos early. And you're machbid not to eat your brachas the whole year. Could you do it then?
The problem is, where do you get the chametz from?
No, it's not.
No, not chametz.
Oh,
Gebracht.
Oh, I see.
Knedlach. Yeah, chametz.
It's more of a problem. But
Yeah,
what if a non-Jew?
it's a question. It's curious to know, but it's not a practical question. It's not going to happen.
What if a non-Jew gave you his chametz? Could you eat it
No,
then?
that some people don't. You have some bagels in the freezer, and so you can just.
No, you have to clean. No. So
be cleaner than
you have to clean it back.
You can't be cleaner than my answer.
Yeah.
You can get it back.
Right.
Yeah. So could you go ahead? So the chametz is an interesting
That's more
shayla,
different.
but it's not going to happen.
Yeah, it wouldn't happen.
But the knedlach is a serious shayla. Could you go ahead and eat the knedlach? I asked this a couple of years ago. It happened. Same thing.
A couple years ago, yeah.
It happened the same thing. It was also Friday, Shabbos, last 2 days, and I've asked so many different places.
And?
And I don't know, it was flying back and forth. But I asked, well,
Rabbi always said no.
I really always said not.
You have to wait till the night.
You have to not eat the knedlach. See?
Did you have a reason, or you just said that? You know?
He said, I don't know what his reason. He said, you should wait till the
You're
night.
machmir on gebracht, and then something.
Yeah, it's machar gebracht. You should have to wait. You should have to wait till night. But the question is, if you go with the Taz, same way you don't understand the sukkah, you makabel Shmini Atzeres early. So why can't you eat chametz now? But anybody you're going to ask, any place you're going to ask, you're going to say chametz chas v'shalom. You can't eat chametz on Pesach. And I asked them, why is it different than not sitting in a sukkah? It's different. It's different. The question is, it's more chametz.
Well,
Yeah, but-
because
but-
it's sukkah, if it rains, there's reasons why you don't have to.
Yeah, but is it sukkah or not?
The Baruch isn't correct.
No, but the chametz is correct.
Chametz is correct.
Previous
But
question.
so what? But the reason for the Taz is, the Taz says,
But
his lashon
sukkah
is,
not correct.
no, the Taz lashon is a pesha also a pesha at the meaning. The same Torah that says
Right.
that you have to send a sukkah, the same Torah that says you can be makabel Shabbos early, and now it's Shabbos, not sukkahs anymore. So then why can't you eat chametz? Chametz never says you can't eat. The question is knedlach. Those
So
are
why is
the
it
brachas.
different than Krishma?
No, Krishma it depends. It has to be dark as it depends on the night. Sukkot, you could say Sukkot ended because Shabbos started. Taisa Shabbos doesn't make it from night day, from day night. But it can make it that it's Shabbos now, and it's not Sukkot anymore. So if it can make it that it's not Sukkot anymore, it can make it that it's not Pesach anymore.
Is it so partial to add to Shabbos by taking away from Yom Tov?
That's what Machlokes Taz and Mashal. Mashal says you can't,
Right.
and the Taz says you could.
Okay, so Mekabel Shabbos early is not so partial. There is Machlokes right there.
Yeah, and I'm going according to the Taz. You're right, according to, but the truth
So
is,
once I have a Machlokes there,
yeah, but the truth is most
then
of
it
us
shouldn't
rely on the Taz, and I'll tell you where. Right? I'll tell you where we rely on the Taz. Taz is the one that says if you Mekabel Shabbos early, now whatever was till now is not anymore. Sukkot, it's not Sukkot anymore. These Shabbos we Mekabel Shabbos early, right? Yeah. So we come home, we eat the Suda. A lot of us bench. So Kiddush is okay. Kiddush is totally Kiddush Shabbos. A lot of us bench when it's the light outside. Now the halacha is a Suda Shabbos. You have to eat 3 Sudas on Shabbos. They have to be on Shabbos. So the Mashal says, if you're Mekabel Shabbos early, and you come home from shul, it's light outside, and you eat kazayas or kabeya of bread, you're not Yitzah, you Suda Shabbos. You have to make sure when it gets dark outside, you eat another kazayas. In order to be Yitzah, you Suda Shabbos. Yeah, says the Taz. What do you have to do that for? Taz l'shetasai, who says if you're Mekabel Shabbos early, so now it's Shabbos, it's not Friday anymore, so you can be Yitzah, you Suda Shabbos. How many of us are makbid to eat a kazayas at night when it's dark? There are some people that are makbid.
But they start really when it's dark. That's a bigger problem.
So what?
Shalosh Shabbos.
Well, that's how shows.
Yeah, that's a
bigger problem.
Okay,
Bigger problem.
okay, that's a short. That's a different issue. Yeah, I'm not talking about that. That's not a video.
Not
I can't talk
only-
about that.
Not only that, you don't wash. There's some guy just eating lasagnas. That's a bigger problem.
No, you can be Yitzah. I should be Yitzah.
You can get away.
But starting so late.
What I'm saying is, if you don't wash,
Oh, if you don't wash it.
already, once it gets dark outside, you have to stop eating.
Yeah. That's something else.
People do that.
Yeah. So for those of us who don't not makbid to eat at night, Friday night when it's dark, another kazayas of challah. So the only heter for that is they're relying on the Taz. So a lot of us rely on the Taz in certain situations. So over here, also you can rely on the Taz. So this is the question I'm going to leave you off with for Pesach. So next week is not going to be a share.
Answer next year.
So after Pesach, I want to hear the Terutzim, but whatever I did with the Knedel,
I guess Rabbi Lowy.
but they're not going to get a heter.